Imagine how your life might have turned out differently if you, from a very young age, had been given the language to talk about your spiritual experiences, given tools to manage your emotions, or to hold the strong boundaries that we need to really step forward in an empowered way. Today's interview guest, Eva Goulette, is the founder of the Dancing Jaguars Spirit Camp and is making that vision a reality for children in many different areas. I'm so excited to bring her to you. So please help me to welcome Ava.
Well, good afternoon, Eva. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, wow, there's so much we can talk about Spirit Camp and what you do and how you even got here. I'm trying to feel where to start, but I think let's start with this connection to nature and why it's so important to work with the children right now, especially when we're thinking about the idea of New Earth. We're building something new as a collective, and what's missing in the old one, the old infrastructure that we're leaving behind.
Mhm. Well, one of the things that I love sharing with children when they first come to do work with me is I share with them the information that we are made up of mind, body, and spirit. And when they go to school, they learn how to nurture their mind. When they play sports or go outside and play at recess, they're nurturing their bodies. And when they come and do work with me, they're learning how to nurture the spirit essence of who they are. And that includes connecting energetically and spiritually to nature, to the natural world. And that is something that is so exciting for me because as I take children outside and they get to sense the energy of the trees, for instance, if we're in a forest. And I mean, there has been a lot of work done kind of before this, getting the children ready and leading up to what we do when we're in nature. But the children really start sensing the energy of the trees around them and then connect to the energies of the trees and they feel energetically what the different trees feel like. And then we ask them to go silent and ask the tree for permission to connect to it to receive a message from it that they can bring back to us and as a group. And then we share those messages afterward. Some really profound messages come from children as young as 5 years old when they do exercises like this because children are so connected to spirit anyway. Like they just came from the other side. So what we're doing at Spirit Camp is just giving voice to experiences that they may have already had, but they didn't know about.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that idea because I was thinking the other day, I was driving somewhere and I was like, wow, I had all these spiritual experiences when I remember them, right, as a young child or as a teenager, whatever, and did not have the language. Nobody was talking about it. And I was like, kind of thinking, like, well, how would my life have been different if I even had even one person, who could tell me or talk to me in this language that would have change the whole context. So you are here providing this.
Exactly.
What for context what is the ages that you're working with and for how long?
From 5 to 12. And
Mhm.
Spirit Camp is a 5-day metaphysical summer camp for kids. And then we teach different parts of Spirit Camp throughout the school year as well. But the main meat of the program is a 5-day summer camp that we do in the summer times when kids are off school.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and how long have you been doing this?
This is going to be my 10th summer.
10. All right. And how many locations is it? Oh, where is this located?
Well, Spirit Camp, I train teachers to be able to take this curriculum to the children in their community. So there are somewhere between 85 and 90 Spirit Camp teachers scattered throughout North America, and they are free to book their own spirit camps in their communities. So spirit camps are growing and expanding, and I'm so excited about that because I feel like this needs to be a global program because I've had people reach out to me from other countries saying there's nothing like this in the country I live in. Can you bring it to us? So I have this um vision of like this grid, this energetic grid surrounding the planet that is being created by the children who are connecting to each other, who are finding their voice, finding their connection to spirit. And they are creating this beautiful web of energy that they are going to be growing up. And I feel like it's like this, they're going to be holding Mother Earth so beautifully as they grow up. And we are just starting to spread those feelers, that energetic grid out. So they are all connecting to each other. So I think this is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger as the world shifts, because this is what we need, is to start with the children understanding that we are all one and we are all connected.
Absolutely. And I so love that you have that vision. In fact, I would love everybody who's listening to this to just take it. And if you have to, like, rewind like 2 minutes and listen to Eva talk about this vision, because when we're, talking about building new earth, it starts with a vision. And when we have this vision collectively in our minds, so if all of us are listening to this, re-listen to that and really put that vision in your third eye, in your mind, and of this network of beautiful children who are able to really connect with Mother Earth and hold. This is what's going to really, bring this energy into reality, into manifestation here on the planet. It's amazing. So thank you so much for holding that vision and for really following through with it. I am my heart is just like, wow.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate the opportunity to share that vision with your audience.
Yeah. So I have so many questions about this. I think maybe I would love to ask, where did that vision come from? When did you first start getting a spark of that vision?
It came to me after I had a traumatic brain injury. I was involved in a head-on car crash.
Wow.
And, I suffered a traumatic brain injury in that car crash. And as I was recovering from the traumatic brain injury, I started receiving these downloads of information at 3:20 in the morning, always the same
3:20.
time.
3:20.
It
Wow.
was these amazing ways to teach children about metaphysics, spirituality concepts, tools and techniques, things that I use in my everyday life, but I was given like um, the information to be able to present it to children in fun, playful, interactive, childlike ways.
Huh.
And I started realizing over time, as I kept getting the information, that there was a lot to this. And I finally ended up connecting meditatively with spirit and asking what I was supposed to do in all of this. And I was asked if I would be the voice of the face of this work for the world, because this is how we can shift the consciousness of our planet in 20 years. I was asked to be someone who brought this forward, which I have done. And then I also started a teacher training program so I can meet virtually with teachers all over the world so we can start spreading this and really supporting the new earth, our planet, with this new way of supporting children with that realization that it's important to nurture all aspects of who we are, mind, body, and spirit.
Body and spirit for sure. And the spirit has been so neglected in our society, especially when it comes to treating children. Wow. In the public schools, it's really not a thing. And a lot of families, it's just like, it's not on the radar screen. So what a beautiful way to bring that into children's awareness, right? And I love what you said about the playfulness. Because in my own work with guides, they're constantly telling me the spirit of play and how important that is. And it's something that I'm starting to incorporate with my work with awakening souls too. But could you speak a little bit about that, about the role of the child, or the importance, or the spirit of the child and the spirit of play, and what that what that does in the world?
Well, first of all, we learn so much quicker when we are playing than when we are studying and trying to remember information. And play is just the best way for us to be able to learn and retain information. So all of the curriculum in Spirit Camp is presented to the children through song, games, crafts, activities. It's all very playful, but they are learning incredible life skills
Mhm.
as they are playing games. So these, we talk about a wisdom toolbox that the children create when they're at Spirit Camp, because they fill this box with all of the things that they're learning how to use, which is basically their self-care toolbox for life. Anything that they put in that box at 5 years old, they can still be using at 95 years old. I mean, these are
Yeah.
tools for any age
Wow.
for anyone's lifetime. So play is the structure that we use, the way all of the curriculum is introduced. But then also, what's really cool about this is as parents were bringing their children to Spirit Camp, parents started saying, "But I need this too. I needed this when I was a child and I didn't get it. And I am so thrilled that my child can get this now, but
Mhm.
I need too." So Spirit Camp for Adults came about, and it's the same approach for the adults. We tap into the inner child and we introduce everything through play. So play is such an important part of life that we all need to allow ourselves to indulge in, because it it's the best way for us to be able to really take in the information and create a solid foundation for ourselves as we move forward with our own self-care tools.
Right. Yeah. And I so agree with that. I mean, the spirit of play is incredible. And like you said, helping you to learn more and just holding that higher vibration energy. The play really brings that out, and laughter and all that good stuff. Tell me about a little bit more about the wisdom toolbox. What sorts of things are in that?
Well, okay, so the very first day that children come to Spirit Camp, they all come with a cardboard shoebox on the first day, and that becomes their spirit toolbox. So our first craft project of the entire week is for them to create the container for everything that they're going to learn to use and work with as tools in Spirit Camp, and they will take that home with them. So the first craft of the week is to make the toolbox. And then on that first day, we also create the sacred tools that they're going to need every single day throughout the week. We create rattles, and the children have their own pair of rattles to open sacred space with every morning from then on. Then they also, of course, learn how to do an invocation and call in the spirits of the various directions and the elemental spirits and stuff. And then they make their own sacred pouch. And we use in the pouches, we use birdseed at Spirit Camp. And this is such an important lesson for kids to for our new earth children. Every single time we go outside to gather materials for craft projects or for things that we are working with inside the classroom, the children take their pouches with them. And when we pick up a twig, a stick, a acorn, a pine cone from the ground, we sprinkle a little bit of birdseed on the ground to thank Mother Earth for the gifts that she gives us. So we're building in that reciprocity with the children, that
The
we are
gratitude.
always holding such gratitude for everything that Mother Earth does to support us and the gifts that she gives us every single day of our lives. So they make their pouch, and then they make a talking stick, and they learn about becoming really good listeners and
Mhm.
learn how to listen without interrupting, and creating a safe space for other people to share their opinions, even when they differ from our own. So there are 5 different tools or craft projects on Monday,
Mhm.
but the first day of Spirit Camp. And what I love about that day is the kids are not only creating their sacred tools, we're building community. We are creating the foundation for the children to feel safe, to have trust, to feel seen and feel heard throughout the rest of the week. So it does sound like it's just a lot of playtime and fun and crafting on Monday to the kids. They love it because they're just creating and crafting all day, but they're talking nonstop, getting to know each other, getting to form their little play partners. And we are creating that container for the kids so that as we start talking about experiences that they're having in their lives, they feel safe just openly communicating about that. And there are so many adorable stories of 5-year-old kids talking about their little brother that passed away when he was younger, and he keeps showing up and wanting to play with them. And kids who say things like, nobody ever told me there's a word for those colors that I see around everybody all the time. Why don't we talk about this stuff? So the conversations just start rolling off the kids' tongues as soon as they understand. After we built that container on Monday, they are safe to talk about anything and everything. And that's how we are building the network of kids that are connecting to each other all over the world.
Beautiful. And you are normalizing the spiritual experience.
Yes.
So it's like at the very young level. That is so beautiful. Have you ever had pushback about any of this? Because I know, when we're dealing with spirituality, things can get really sensitive with different people of different backgrounds. Have you ever experienced any kind of
No, because I'm so blatant about it on my website. People know what they're signing their kids up for when they come to the website and they actually see what Spirit Camp is all about. So I've never had a parent say, this was a really big mistake. I don't want my child learning this, because and if they're going to the website to register their child, they know what they're registering their child for. It's very clear that we are helping the children develop a vocabulary to talk about their experiences and to create their own experiences of learning how to trust their intuition, honor their truth, speak from their heart. And we really provide them with so many tools that help them connect to their own inner wisdom. Like, parent wouldn't want that for their child. So, we're teaching them how to muscle test themselves for yes, no answers, how to use pendulums and dowsing rods, and how to really start understanding that there are so many tools we can use when we are accessing information. And we share with children at 5 years old, your answers can be found within. And we're going to give you the tools to figure out how to ask those questions so you can trust that the answers you are getting from within are in your highest good.
right? I am curious about, there's gotta be some kind of a transformation that happens during an experience like this, whether you're a child or an adult. Do you have any stories, or what do you typically see, the difference between when the children come in and at the end, or even what you've maybe heard feedback from parents or seeing them the next year? Would just curious about that.
Oh gosh, there are so many stories. I'm actually writing a book about this because
Really?
this is the path forward for us at the new earth, is just leading the children in this way. I mean, actually, they're leading us. I'm just giving them tools and they're leading the way. So there are stories like from a mom who had a special needs daughter who was very, very angry prior to Spirit Camp. And whenever she was in a bad mood, everybody around her was impacted by it because she made everybody else miserable because she was miserable. But after Spirit Camp, her mom said when she got into a bad mood, she would go into her room and slam her door, but she would come out a different child 20 minutes later because she had her toolbox there. And she knew that she could just open her toolbox. There were breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques, meditation jars, her pendulum. She knew how to journey to her power animal. There were so many tools in there that could help her come back to center and focus on finding that peaceful, calm place within. So her mom said that it was a win, not just for the child to go to Spirit Camp, but for the whole family, because it shifted everything in that family. And then I'm going to share one other really cute example, because the children share this stuff with their friends. So, oh gosh, I have so many stories. I'm trying to decide which one to pick. So there was a child who was 5 years old. She came to Spirit Camp before she even started kindergarten. And in September, she had to go to school all day and on the bus both ways. So it was a really long day for her. And one day she missed her mom at lunch and started crying.
Oh,
And yes, and older children teased her for crying.
oh,
Yeah, I know. It was sad. But when she got home and her mother said, "How did you handle that?" She very matter of factly said, "Mom, I know how to shield myself. I just zipped up my chakras." And her mom said she was completely unfazed by having older kids laugh at her because she realized she was in the presence of negative energy and she zipped up her chakras and she shielded herself and she was completely unfazed by it. That's the power of these tools for kids because they are so simple.
right. Yeah.
And 5-year-olds can use these. So
Love that story on so many levels. First of all, trusting the child that they do have power, that they are powerful beings, right? It's like our tendency in our culture is to want to be this hover mother kind of, save them or pretend. But, you're giving them the empowerment tools that they can just, wow, that's huge. And just to think about like, I'd love for everybody who's listening to think, oh, what if you'd had been given those tools as a 5-year-old? How would that have changed your life?
exactly. So there was this other 5-year-old whose mom came home from work exhausted one day.
Mhm.
And the little girl went up to her mom and said, "Mom, why don't I align your chakras for you before dinner? I think you would feel better." And her mom said in that moment, she realized that the impact of Spirit Camp is not only for the child, but that child at 5 years old had just become a partner in the holistic well-being of her entire family because
Wow.
he had tools, knowledge, and wisdom to be able to support her mom, to help her mom come back to a place of peace and calm after a really, rough day.
Yeah.
And at 5 years old, so that child just started spreading that knowledge and wisdom to her circle of friends, and of course, this stuff it's got a ripple effect.
I
It's
was
like
just thinking ripple because it's like
the
you're rippling
butterfly
from
effect.
child to her family and then to the friends and to all the ripples that are happening from there. That's incredible. And getting this big download is like this can happen really fast.
It could. I'm so
Uh,
excited. Yes.
uh, wow. Um, all right. So I am so I mean, I could talk to you forever. I mean, just like I don't even know where to start, but I know that you have a gift available for free
Yes.
helps children, and I'd love you to share what that is.
Well, this is a video that was part of a 4-part series I did for parents on understanding how you can empower your child with shielding techniques that will enable them to be confidently going out into the world with the knowledge like that 5-year-old I told you about who learned how to zip up her chakras at Spirit Camp. So it's a video that talks a little bit about energy, the energy centers in our body, how negative and positive energy impact us as human beings, and then how you can share information with your child to teach them how to shield themselves. So when they go out in the world, they feel safe, confident, and empowered with tools to be able to help themselves, like that little 5-year-old did.
Talk about an anti-bullying protocol or anything else. That's incredible. Um, Thank you so much. Where can people find out more about Spirit Camp and your program?
You can, my website is dancingjaguarinspirations.com. That is the name of the company, and Dancing Jaguars Spirit Camp is the name of the program for both kids and adults. There's Dancing Jaguars Spirit Camp for kids and Dancing Jaguars Spirit Camp for adults. And then there are also teacher training programs for both people who want to start helping to add to that grid that we are creating around the world. So at dancingjaguarinspirations.com, you'll find information about all of our programs there.
Beautiful. And actually, one last question. why Jaguar? I have a real connection with Jaguar, and it has been really building strongly. I would love to like ask you where that Jaguar came from.
Okay. So the name of my company, Dancing Jaguar Inspiration, dancing is because I was a ballet dancer and teacher until I was in my mid 30s. Jaguar because Black Jaguar is my power animal. And I actually met Black Jaguar spiritually in the Amazon jungles, I would say 15 years, 20 years, almost 20 years before I started my company. I was already connected to Black Jaguar spiritually. And then the word inspirations in the company name is because I want to inspire the children that I work with. So I took the three things that are really important to me, dancing, Jaguar, and inspirations, and created the name of my company using those.
Well, thank you. You are an inspiration. I am
Oh, thank
so
you.
grateful for your presence here and just sharing everything that you're doing. It's incredible work. So thank you so much. And
Thank you for the opportunity to connect with your audience.
yeah, Ava, I love how you've just taken this concept, this vision, and actually taken action on it. So I really hope that you're an inspiration to many people out there listening who have visions of their own. You can do it.
And can I leave you with the tagline Spirit gave me? The world is ready and the children are waiting.
Beautiful.
They're waiting for us. So yes.
Wonderful. Well,
Thank
that
you.
says it all, doesn't it? Right.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I don't know about you, but when I re-listened to that interview, I absolutely got chills all over again. I'm just so excited about the work that Ava is doing because when we reach the children, that is our future. And it really gives me a lot of hope for the world to see people like Ava moving forward with programs like Spirit Camp. The Dancing Jaguar Spirit Camps and the teacher training for the Spirit Camps is open for registration right now. Go check that out if you are feeling inspired. And also, if you love jaguars, as I do, I'm working on some jaguar paintings here, so stay tuned. It may be a few weeks, but once these are ready to go, I'm going to be doing a video on the spirit meaning of jaguar. So stay tuned, and remember, you were born to be free.